This video is brought to you by Crystalborn Heroes of Fate.
I can't imagine the poor middle school teachers whose students watched this show and are saying horrendous things from this in their classrooms.
Yeah.
To the educators of America, we say we're sorry.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a good show. What's up, Wisecrack? Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Brilliant, the show where we break down the TV shows, movies, and games that we are really excited about. I'm Michael, and today I'm joined by Wisecrack writer and assistant youth minister, Alec.
Hello.
Today we are going to be talking about the HBO show, The Righteous Gemstones. It's a show that explores faith and finance through the story of the Gemstone family, who run a mega church in South Carolina. There's also a Satanist nightclub involved. But to get started, let's talk about what's good. So Alec, tell us what you think is good about The Righteous Gemstones.
I gotta say, man, it's the car pranks. Good,
Car pranks,
good,
yes.
wholesome car pranks. I mean, you have just a series of escalating insanity being explained by Jesse Gemstone as just car pranks he does with the guys. You know, just some of my friends, we do car pranks.
You know them?
No. Yes, maybe. I think they're these guys that I did car pranks with. Just be quiet for a second.
I mean, you gotta love when he gets out of a car after he's, I think, on a date night with his wife, runs down a van. The van flips such that you would imagine everyone's dead. He immediately jumps out with a loaded weapon and just casually to his wife says,
Just some fellas I play car pranks with.
There's also, towards the end of the season, Keith, our Satanist, sees the red van just drive out of a garage, like break the door, and he just laughs, haha.
Car pranks.
I really love that about the show. I think it's probably the hardest I laughed all season was when he says car pranks with a loaded weapon in episode 4. Something I thought was really good in The Righteous Gemstones is the cast.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, it's great, but I do want to focus on two people in particular. The first is Edie Patterson, who plays Judy Gemstone.
Judy Gemstone.
I have regular woman panties where the string goes up my crack. I have tits. I do sex. I'm carving my own path.
Judy.
That's my name. Don't wear it out, son.
If we were going to do the numbers on this one, like it's sports or something, to say, you know, how many, I guess, 3-pointers she had throughout the season, and those 3-pointers equate to really good dialogue, Judy has to win. Every third thing out of her mouth is so funny.
How many will I get, Jesse? Boyfriends?
No, I like 10, 15 dudes.
Will they also go down on my butthole?
Casually talking to your brother about how many boyfriends you're going to have, and if they won't eat your butthole.
Yeah.
That's normal, right?
Yeah, and wholesome and sweet. I think a lot of what I'm going to talk about on The Good and the Brilliant are things she's done.
Yeah.
But she's really good. And John Goodman. I mean, everyone's really good, but I love John Goodman.
Yeah, and he's like a fun new player in the Danny McBride, Jody Hill universe.
Right.
I think in a lot of ways, not to dive too deep into this, but their two previous shows, Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals, normally don't have any like A-list super old school talent. They normally focus on newer unknown actors. So to have Goodman in it, first I was almost nervous about having him participate in their world, but he crushes.
Yeah, he's so good. A lot of the characters are really, they're sad sacks. Jesse Gemstone, Kelvin, they're just sad people that you don't want to be. Not that you want to be John Goodman's character, Eli, but there's something really compelling about him where he's so clearly evil and doing evil things, but there's just this like soft, gooey core that you want to hug a little bit.
Another character and casting choice I loved, of course, is Walton Goggins as a baby uncle. Let's get it right. Uncle Baby Billy Freeman.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Now you trust Uncle Baby Billy now.
Like when he first comes on screen in his like old man hair and makeup, it is incredible.
Yeah, and he's so good in Vice Principals.
Yeah.
I know he's in a lot of other things, but I'm very excited for the extended Goggins universe.
Oh, and him being brought into the, I guess I'll call it the extended McBride Hill universe has been great. Because I think for a lot of his career, he played menacing, creepy guys.
Yeah.
And I always think about him on like Justified. So to see him kind of come into his own as, I would say, a top tier comedic actor has been awesome. And being willing to do so much goofy and absurd stuff as someone with a pretty good pedigree is awesome. And sort of a testament, I think, to how much he trusts Danny McBride and Jody Hill and their insane vision for a show like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else did you think is good about The Righteous Gemstones?
There's like a very specific usage of naivete and kind of out of touchness everywhere through the show. So there's a great scene where Jesse is trying to more or less say there's a tape of him doing blow and, you know, sleeping with prostitutes. But Kelvin says,
Like what, like a YouTube's?
No, Kelvin, not like a YouTubes.
Just like the subtle little S. And then his sister's like, no, you dummy. What is it, like a motion picture?
It was a motion picture?
No, not a motion picture.
Not a movie, a motion picture. There's other great things like BJ decides he wants to like man up, so he gets a single diamond earring. There is John Goodman, Eli throws a bobblehead of Jesus angrily, and they're like, Daddy, that's Jesus. He says, what, I thought that was a karate person. Like, who refers to something as a karate person?
Yeah, I mean, at one point when Judy's describing a breakup she had to BJ, and we'll get into this more later, but she says we weren't boyfriends and girlfriends anymore. And I think there's something interesting because I think sometimes there could be a bad tendency in TV and film to portray the South as like dumb or something like that. And I don't think this does that. These are smart people with just such a particular understanding of culture and such like a unique affect to the way they go about things. But it's consistent throughout the show.
Yeah, Kelvin knows what a YouTubes is.
Yeah.
But he just uses weird words for it. Or there's a great scene with Levi, who's played by Jody Hill, right?
Yeah.
And he just gives a really naive plan about finding Scotty, who's blackmailing him. What if we put up some flyers to the thing? And they just all like, oh, you dumbass, like, get out of here.
Off out of here with that idea, Levi.
Or when Judy invites BJ to rub backs and dicks together. Who says that? Who says that?
Just a normal, well-adjusted adult that wants to have sex with their fiance.
With their backs and dicks.
On a maybe less linguistic note, something that I really like about the show is the way in which it deals with grief and loss. Now, it's an absurd show, it's a funny show, it's a ridiculous show, but as the season progresses, we do learn that by losing their mother, Amy Lee, who really was the matriarch that held this family together, it really screwed these people up.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people with a lot of pain and grief and trauma that they're working out, not well, clearly not in consultation with a licensed therapist of any sort, but they're doing it and they're trying their best. And it adds a humanity to these otherwise absurd characters, so they're not just cartoons.
It also grounds them, and I think by the end of the season, Eli's horrible, right?
Yeah.
But by the end, he's offering the church pastor they put out of business a job as a partner, not as an underling. He gives a whole speech about forgiveness. But what precipitates that is that Uncle Baby Billy says he saw saw the afterlife and saw Amy Lee, and she says, I should forgive you, and also a little subtle shade here about you can't help the way that you are. And whether or not he believes that is what the ghost of Amy Lee is saying, I think she's the sort of inner voice of consciousness of these people.
Yeah.
We don't really know how kind of disgusting or not disgusting she was, but I think he possibly feels posthumously judged by his dead wife.
Well, and we get the sense that all that is good within them is a product of Amy Lee.
Yeah.
Like their mother was the one good thing in their lives, and when she leaves, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, when they're bickering and starting fights at a buffet, your mother would be so ashamed of you.
Yeah.
Which happens regularly to me, but whatever. I mean, my mom's not. She's fine.
I'm glad to hear. In case you're watching this, I hear you're a great buffet date. Buffet date, I would never. Buffet buddy. Now,
Sounds worse.
But along with the loss thing, on a micro scale, I did do a good job of exploring Jesse and Amber's relationship to their estranged son, Gideon.
Yeah.
And the more that we learn that they're reeling from losing their son to Hollywood. Can you imagine losing your son to Hollywood?
A lot of people have been there.
A lot of people have been there. But they're dealing with that. And not only that, Gideon's having to deal with the loss of his father as this, patriarchal pastor figure he can look up to when he sees his dad asking his friends, how do you smoke crack? On the video he makes. So everyone seems to be responding to loss with a limited emotional capacity, or maybe like an unhealthy way of processing things, but there's something there. These are human characters at an extreme, but human nonetheless.
Absolutely. And I think as monstrous as they are, they always give us just a little bit to be compassionate about. We see Uncle Baby Billy's backstory. We see the way that Eli has kind of messed with, his livelihood and his relationship with his sister.
So let's do a couple quick goods. We have to leave Good Island and go to Bad City soon. So any other things that stood out to you as particular goods from the season of Righteous Gemstones?
There are very small physical touches, just set things. So Judy is having a outfit in the parking lot, you know, taking a shopping cart and
I think of the Piggly Wiggly.
the Piggly,
I
yeah.
think that's the name of the store. Yeah.
And meanwhile, BJ is like looking behind a thing. The thing he's looking behind is a rack full of sandals with like AstroTurf on the sole, so you could always feel like you're walking on grass, which is just such like a lame thing to especially be hiding behind.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna talk about this more later,
Yeah.
but the amazing Outback Steakhouse scene, and there's just,
Oh my God.
they're having a very intense conversation in front of a blooming onion.
I mean, who among us has not gone to the Outback Steakhouse for a rough conversation over a bloomin' onion?
Yeah, totally.
We've talked about the good, and now it's time to get into some of the things that were not so good about the Righteous Gemstones.
Hey Wisecrack, I'm going to stop myself right here to give a brief shout out to this week's sponsor, Crystalborn Heroes of Fate. Without sponsors like them, we wouldn't be able to test out these exciting new formats, so let me walk you through this fun new mobile game. Machine Zone just released Crystalborn Heroes of Fate, which is an RPG for your phone. You can collect exclusive heroes, join a guild, and fight in PvP battles with your friends. I really like to work on my team as soon as I start a new game, because there's always a trick to fitting the right heroes together, like a puzzle. In Crystalborn, you can upgrade your heroes in so many unique ways, like using ability books or consuming other heroes. The possibilities are endless. Different consumables are available through different battle modes, so you're rewarded for PvP battles and guild conquests. The game has so many ways for you to enhance your heroes and collect new ones, and it's really fun to learn about all the extras Crystalborn has to help you build a strong collection. Right now, it's the top new featured game on the Apple Store, so join all your friends and download the game today. Crystalborn is free to download and is available on iOS and Android, so click the link in the description to start playing today. And now, back to the show.
Let's talk about the bad. What were some of the things that you found to be bad about this season of the Righteous Gemstones?
I don't have a lot of complaints, but I think there's a kind of glaring problem in the very end of the season. It just happens very quickly. It was 9 episodes. I feel like it should have been 12, maybe.
Yeah.
There's the heist where Scotty and Gideon, you know, are trying to steal all the money from Easter Sunday, and then Gideon turns, and then he's back with the family, and then gets ejected from the family, and is now back in the family, and Jesse has to repair that relationship, and Jesse gets shot in the ass by Amber. There's everything happening with the breakup of the real power couple, which is Judy and BJ.
Of course.
I don't know a Brangelina type name for them, but let's just think about that a little bit more. The Uncle Baby Billy stealing the money, kind of, and then them getting it back. And they do a good job of wrapping everything up, but I think one big problem is it just happens, it feels very rushed.
No, I agree with you. I think there was something at the end where it felt like they smashed a lot of ideas together.
Yeah.
And in particular for me, the way that Uncle Baby Billy finds the money and they accidentally kill Scotty and poorly bury the van, and then they find him, it just felt a little quick.
Yeah.
And I wondered, like, what were the stakes of this if Uncle Baby Billy, I mean, they like steal a bunch of money and they kill someone. Like, there's a dead body.
That's a whole season of content right there.
Yeah. And we just kind of like blow through that. And it makes you feel bad for Scotty that he just dies and no one cares.
I don't feel too bad about Scotty. He sucked.
He kind of, he sucked. There's
Yeah.
a few moments where I thought he didn't suck, but he sucked.
That was my favorite, Slim 3 tuna salad.
My Slim 3.
I think the ending could have been better. And related to that, they tied things up so well at the end. They kind of emotionally resolved a lot of stuff. We have this beautiful moment of Jesse showing up in Haiti to work with Gideon. It seems like a lot of people have worked through their issues. Of course, thank God, BJ and Judy are back together. What would we have done without them? But I wouldn't have minded a couple of loose ends. Some things to get me excited about season 2. Now, on the flip side, it shows a lot of confidence from Hill and McBride.
Yeah.
They can wrap up every storyline, basically.
Or that
and
they think they're not going to get renewed.
No, they're definitely going to get renewed.
I hope so.
They did, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank
yeah,
God.
we're definitely getting season 2. So, I mean, it leads me to think, hopefully they have enough left in the chamber. And I'll just stick with the gun metaphors because we know the Gemstone family loves guns and Amber has her gun closet. Yeah, I feel like that was something that let me down. The only other thing I can think of, and this is a weird one that I found bad, is Kelvin and Keith's relationship. I just wanted to know more. Is there a romantic tension? Are they just brothers from other mothers? They love each other a lot. Of course, there's the moment where Kelvin saves Keith from the baby milk apparatus.
It's beautiful.
I don't know, they messed around with that a little bit, and just personally, I just wanted to know, are they good buds or do they love each other in a romantic way? Either way is cool. I just want to know.
They really set up, and maybe it's going to come back in season 2, but I think it's the first or second episode. Kelvin comes back from his mission in China.
Yeah.
And Keith is just being real weird, being like, I slept in your bed just once, but the I had the maid do it up again. He's like, oh man, you can like sleep in my bed anytime.
Yeah.
Keith is very awkward. So there's just like the subtext there. I'm kind of okay with it. I mean, it's the joke, and I think this is a joke that gets used a lot in maybe like a cliche way, is like, oh, the religious person secretly gay.
Yeah, and I think that's why I found it a little bit odd. And, they play into that at another point in the season when Gideon's trying to admit his complicity in the crime, and then Jesse's just like, oh, so you're gay then? Which one are you? The top one or the bottom one?
Never mind, I shouldn't ask that.
Yeah, and then later when Gideon's telling his parents, like, I'm not gay, he's like, I love my bi son.
No, can we please just move on from this conversation?
Yeah. So once again, like, all of these things aren't even that bad, and I think it's a good sign that, I don't know about you, I had to work a little bit to really think about what the bads were from this show. There weren't a lot of things that just jumped out at me while I was watching.
I do hope Keith and Kelvin, they don't go the like, haha, they're religious but secret. I hope their route is they're really just the platonic ideal of a platonic friendship. Like they're just bros for life, and they got each other. And I mean, they're already kind of like that, but it is one side in that like Keith is kind of like a psycho fan.
I think it's something beautiful about a friendship that's a pastor's son and a man that has 666 right across his chest.
Slowly getting it removed.
They're slowly getting it removed, yeah. Hopefully no one liked the show so much they were inspired to get a tattoo like Keith's. It'd just be hard to get employed with that. So before we finish, anything else that was bad, that irked you, that left you a little unsatisfied this season?
I think this speaks to my prior point, but one thing I would really like to see a lot of, Kelvin proclaims that he's maybe Jesus. Maybe Jesus.
Might be.
He's the guy. Maybe Jesus speaks to him. Maybe he is Jesus.
Maybe I am him.
Who?
Jesus.
There's also a voice in the back of his head that maybe is Lucifer, Beelzebub. It's not good. And then he immediately turns really goth, all black, very tight leather pants that make walking very hard. Quits the youth pastor, and then within, I think, the same episode, he sees Keith also back into the satanic lifestyle, and goes and saves him, and is back, with the religious community. I would have loved to see Kelvin's descent into Satanism over a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a fun thing to leave us with. Like, everything else is wrapped up, the major storylines, but Kelvin has gone deep and he's now a regular at Club Sinister.
Yeah, or like he's the Antichrist.
The literal Antichrist.
He's going to bring about, that's what the show is really about, is it's a prequel to This Is the End.
Okay, so now we're the good, bad, the brilliant, and the predictions. So we're predicting that he might be Satan himself.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about the good and the bad. As you know, what's up next is the brilliant, but first, the lightning round. Alec, are you ready for the questions I've prepared for you for this lightning round?
As ready as I'll
It doesn't
be.
matter, you're doing it anyways. As you know, I'm gonna ask you these questions. You have not heard these previously. I need your immediate and honest answer. Okay, first, would you rather be head minister, youth minister, or music minister?
Music minister. The music's not that bad.
Okay, fair enough.
Misbehaving?
Running through the house with a pickle in my mouth.
And the guys in the band looked cool.
Yeah.
There you go, I like that answer. How would you rank the Righteous Gemstones compared to the other HBO shows that McBride and Hill have produced? So we have Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, Righteous Gemstones. Where does Gemstones fit in that three?
I'm going to say number 1, Eastbound and Down. Such a great show.
Yeah.
Number 2, Righteous Gemstones. Number 3, love Vice Principals, but it's not as good as the other two.
That's fair. I'll let that stand. What would you do if you caught your dad and his friends partying with cocaine and sex workers in an Atlanta hotel room?
Wow. This brings up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It might be good for him. I don't know.
I like that attitude. Like, just, dad probably needs this. He's had a rough quarter. That's
he needs to loosen up a little bit.
wow.
Yeah.
That's really surprising, but a great answer. Would you rather get shot in the ass by Amber or have to spend a day inside of the baby apparatus in Club Sinister.
A whole day in the baby
Whole
app?
day, 24 hours, you are the baby.
Oh.
I mean, it looked calming. Keith looked relaxed.
Of all the places to get shot, I guess the ass is the way to go.
I think that's a thing.
And also, I think there was a silencer on it. It slows down the bullet. It seems less like lethal and stuff.
I mean, he was able to walk away somehow or stumble away.
He seems fine. I think I could live with that.
Okay, great.
I need a standing desk.
Alec, have you ever done any car pranks?
I used to have a very shitty car that I got for free, and the transmission eventually fell out. My friend also had one. It was a Pontiac Phoenix, and we would literally play bumper cars when we were 17 years old.
And just to make sure we got this, you are recommending that viewers under the age of 18 get cars and play real-life bumper cars on city streets.
I would not recommend car pranks to anyone who's not a professional of car pranks.
And finally, if you had to go on a 2-week trip to Thailand with any one of the Gemstone siblings, who would you pick and why?
Ooh, Judy?
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah.
And why do you think Judy would be a good 2 weeks in Thailand trip companion?
She's hilarious.
Yeah?
Seems like she's like the only one who like gets it. And by gets it, I mean is like not caught up in like the culty Gemstone family.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, these answers were fantastic. I was trying to stump you, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'll take whatever you got ready for me.
If we're on Desert Island and could only have one song, and the songs are Misbehavin' or 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton, which do you choose?
I'm assuming that Dolly Parton isn't a Wisecrack subscriber. I hope she is. I'm assuming she's not, and that's that Misbehavin'. I love Misbehavin' so much. After seeing that episode, I was thinking about that song constantly. It's a gem. And also, it's so cool that McBride and Edie Patterson wrote most of the lyrics.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. You're a youth pastor. How do you connect to the youth? Is it like bouncy castle? What's your strategy?
Ooh. I probably, day one, I'm going to like swear in front of them in a brazen way so they know that I don't play by the rules. Then I will, I don't know, start a TikTok account.
Okay.
And make funny TikTok videos about the glory of Christ.
Yeah, okay.
And I will also, my youth ministry will have the best snack options.
Okay.
So
what's the best snack?
Well, here's the thing. I would get dragged into youth groups growing up because people would have good pizza. I'm talking taco truck. I'm talking, I don't know, maybe like a banh mi stand. I'm getting a local ice cream maker to make a specialty flavor that I've designed, and they're coming through straight from the creamery.
That truly celebrates the glory of God.
Yeah. You get it. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
For God.
Are you team Eli or team Uncle Baby Billy?
Oh, this is hard. I'm gonna go Uncle Baby Billy because he's just like, he's fun and he's reckless, and you're gonna die at some point riding along with him, but it's gonna be a fun journey to the bottom.
Who wants to suck an old man's
Should BJ take Judy back?
No, he shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I like BJ. I like Judy. I think that it doesn't end well for BJ.
What is your ultimate car prank?
Oh, this is a good one. Well, I used to do this thing in high school.
Drugs.
No one should do this. No, I didn't do any drugs in high school.
Good for you.
And that's real. It really is. I would do this thing where I would drive my car really fast and I would climb through the sunroof and then get back in the window so I could grab the steering wheel before it like went off the road. I used to like doing that quite a bit. And then in college, when I got a little more calm, I would ghost ride my car.
What is it, ghost riding?
So ghost riding the whip.
The whip, okay.
Yeah. YouTube the music videos of E40 or other Oakland-based rappers associated with the hyphy movement when you have time. But ghost riding the whip is when you get out of your car as it idles at slow speeds and dance next to it.
Oh, okay.
I did that once and I wasn't going slow enough and didn't realize the parking lot was on a hill and my car ran into a wall.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are some of my best car pranks.
Yeah, those are pretty good car pranks.
Yeah, it's fun to find out that we're both car pranksmen.
Degenerates is another way to put it.
Degenerates is another way to put it, yeah. You got anything else for me?
That's it. You also did exceedingly well.
Wow.
You have passed this non-existent test.
We've both passed the test.
And I think this means that we're ready to talk about what's brilliant. Do we get to talk about what's brilliant?
I'm going to say we get to talk about what's brilliant.
All right.
So we've talked about the good, the bad, and we both survived the lightning round. So there's one thing left to do, and that's talk about the brilliant. So Alec, what did you find brilliant about the Righteous Gemstones?
The writing, and in very specific, almost like technical. I'm gonna nerd out for a second.
Let's nerd out.
I write things for Wisecrack, and so I look at words all day.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of little things about the writing that are just phenomenal. You know, if you read a lot of books on writing or people talking about writing, a big thing you'll come up in fiction is like name creation, like naming your character. It's hugely important. Like Rocky is a great name. If he was called Tobias, not so much. Meanwhile, Tobias Funke, great name. Or like Severus Snape. He's not Severus Snape if he's Sean Snape. And so some authors are like really, really great at creating great names. J.K. Rowling among them. Some of the names in this show, you know what the first one I'm gonna say is.
Do it.
Uncle Baby Billy is possibly the most beautiful name in the English language. Possibly, forget cellar door, the most beautiful phrase in the English language is Uncle Baby Billy.
Yeah.
And they know it. They're saying it all the time.
Baby Billy.
Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy. Uncle Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Mr. Baby Billy.
Just rolls off the tongue, it's beautiful.
Okay, so we got Uncle Baby Billy. What are some of the other sort of expertly written names in the season of Gemstones?
Dr. Warren Carmichael, it is, I'm gonna talk about this speech a lot, but
Yeah.
it is mentioned at the Outback Steakhouse in front of a Bloomin' Onion. It's just the name of the first boyfriend, quote unquote, that Judy ever had, Dr. Warren Carmichael. And it's such just a beautiful name. I think those are the two best ones, but I mean, Keith is great.
Keith is delightful.
Yeah, Gideon is like just a good choice. You know, Jesse and Kelvin, it's fine. But moving on from the name usage, word choice is obviously a huge thing. And I actually I'm gonna read this properly.
No, I think for this, I want you to get it right, so.
All right, William Zinsser has this great book on writing well, where he talks about the importance of word freshness. You know, we always use the same words again and again and again. If you're talking about sports, they run, they throw, they tackle, we get it. And so you have this discrepancy between like the bad sports writers who just keep using those words and the ones who get really like colorful and creative describing those same actions, running, throwing, tackling, etc., in ways that you would never describe but are evocative. And I think the show is really good at that, not with sports, but with being profane and talking about sex. The speech, Judy is describing her first boyfriend, Dr. Warren Carmichael.
Yep.
And I'm gonna read this.
Yeah, let's get this ready. We gotta make sure we get this right.
The professor approaches her before class and says,
Can we note that he's also a 56-year-old economics professor?
56-year-old who he likes Hawaiian shirts or Tommy Bahama?
He wore Hawaiian or Tommy Bahama. He wore like beach shirts to class.
Beach shirts to class.
Yeah, I pictured him sort of like a Jimmy Buffett type.
Yeah, the professor's Jimmy Buffett, who says to Judy, "Nice Patagonia shirt, gotta get me one of those."
Gotta get me one of those.
To which point Judy responds that she immediately knew he was coming on to her. At which point she describes the experience she had. "Full lightning bolt through my slit. When class was over, there was snail trails on my chair." I mean, come on. You go to anything else, they're like, "Oh, I was horny." You know, maybe there's a few other descriptive words that I'm not going to get into. But you go from lightning bolt through my slit, very descriptive, to snail trails on my chair.
Like, no one should have sat in that chair after me. It was damp.
100% agree. And I can't imagine the poor middle school teachers whose students watched this show and are saying horrendous things from this in their classrooms.
Yeah.
To the educators of America, we say we're sorry.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a good show. Okay, so any other fun word choice stuff that really stood out to you and warranted being called brilliant in this season?
When Amber shoots Jesse in the ass, a lesser writer would have had Jesse saying, "She shot me in the ass, ow, it hurts," or something like that. Instead, and let me quote here, "She got me in my meat. It's down in my butthole. She broke my butthole." There's also great juxtaposition in their jokes. There's a great moment where, what I'm gonna say is very profane. Scotty talking to Gideon. "We could have been a killer team, Gideon. Brothers of Thailand. Coordinating low budget kung fu pics by day, slamming ass at night. Vegetarian options in every restaurant. Thailand is bananas."
I do want to say, a country where you have vegetarian options at every restaurant is great. I won't
bananas.
speak to the moral stature of those other travel activities, but no, that writing is phenomenal. And I think for any of us that like writing or interested in words, and especially are interested in good comedy writing,
Yeah.
it really is a masterclass in how they use language.
Totally.
So study up, kids. In terms of brilliant, a couple other small things. This is a little more serious. I really like the way the show dealt with the relationship between religion and commerce. Or
Right.
money. And I think a lot of times there can be a tendency for shows to crap on religion in like unfair ways. But I think it gets at the compatibility of like mega church Christianity and certain economic trends we have in this country. Because like they're even expanding the same way that a restaurant might sort of build out franchises. They have their prayer centers and they have to push out competitors so they can open those prayer centers.
Hostile takeovers of other churches.
Yeah, I got to read this one to get it right, but they even have Holy Grounds, a Gemstone family brand of coffee.
Wow.
So they've developed their own coffee brand and coffee shop. So I think it explores the way in which religion and kind of capitalism intertwine in a really interesting way that I think is fair, while also, I don't know, showing the genuine religious experience of people in that community.
What's really interesting about the Gemstones is that they're all out for fame and money. But it's not like they're cynically. It would have been easy to paint them as cynical. They actually don't even believe in God.
Yeah. Oh, Jesse he sits on the bed and prays to God in the middle of the season when things are at his lowest point.
Good afternoon, Jesus. Thank you for watching after my family and myself.
They all believe. They've just distorted themselves into believing in a certain kind of weird way. Yeah, and I think that's really interesting. And again, it's not making fun of the people who go to the church. And I also like, this is kind of related to commerce. There's kind of a juxtaposition between the like Hollywood as, you know, there's Gideon goes to be a stunt actor in Hollywood and everything's a performance. But literally as a gemstone, every Sunday you have to put on a performance on a stage with a band, with weird montages of your mission in China. You have to have a personal brand. They're performers.
Well, even the way Jesse, when he gets to do the Easter service, he says, I'm headlining.
Yeah.
So it describes it the way you would describe being the main act at a concert or something like that. And I think Gideon's a good example here, right? Because Gideon's someone who comes up in that world, rebels by leaving and going to Hollywood to be a stunt man, mostly for women. But then, you know, where do we end? With him in Haiti just doing good stuff.
Right.
So for him, we almost see Gideon's religious journey of coming up in the Gemstones universe, leaves and becomes Scotty's little lackey, and eventually just goes someplace to try to genuinely help people. So I think we explore the themes of religion tied up with institutional religion in interesting ways. I have one last brilliant thing I'll throw out, which is episode 5, the interlude episode, which is our flashback to seeing Amy Lee in the flesh, in her prime years, with baby Billy, singing Misbehaving.
2 little country kids outside misbehaving.
We get to see all of our favorite gemstones, except Kelvin, who's in the womb, as kids. And I think this episode was pretty perfect front to back, was really fun, had the great song, but did a lot of work of fleshing out the emotional stories of these characters, showing us why Amy Lee was so important to them, and showing us why Uncle Baby Billy had such a contentious relationship with the family. So I would say episode 5, brilliant. Anything else you have in the brilliant category?
I think we got it.
Okay, well, we've done the good, we've done the bad, survived the lightning round, done the brilliant. The last thing to do now is to give our final ratings for the show. Now, Alec, as you know on the show, we always use a 5-point scale.
Right.
What should our value be? What should this be 5 units of to adequately rate the Righteous Gemstones?
We could do like Hail Marys, but I feel like...
That's good.
Car pranks?
Okay, so today we will be ranking the show on a scale of 1 to 5 car pranks. So how many car pranks do you give season 1 of the Righteous Gemstones?
Hold on, what's 1 car prank out of 5, and what's 5 car pranks out of 5?
5 car pranks out of 5. I mean, here we're talking like a Fast and the Furious type situation where city streets are shut down, chaos is reigning. 1, you do a little bumper car thing with your friend's Pontiac.
Okay. With that being said, I think 4? It's not a perfect show.
Yeah.
Really, really love it. I think I'm going to be very stingy about my 5s, to be honest.
I respect that.
I feel like only so many people deserve A++s.
You know, it's like Judy says. She said she got around a lot and was throwing things out, but really, BJ was her first. So she kept it special the same way that you are keeping your rating special, and I respect that.
Thank you.
I am going to be a little reckless here. I'm going to say 5 out of 5.
Wow.
These things are personal, but when I really think about all the shows I watched in 2019, That was the show that every Sunday night, I couldn't wait for the new episode to come out. I was surprised by it, I was excited by it, and I don't think I laughed harder at anything this year. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 car pranks. Things are bad. Call your friends that work for the fire services because they gotta put this out. Well, Alec, we've done it. We've covered the good, the bad, the brilliant, and had our lightning round and ranked things in terms of car pranks. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
I think I did.
Fantastic. Well, this has been the good, the bad, and the brilliant. Please let us know what sort of properties you'd love to see us cover in the future. Come back soon, and in the meantime, peace.
Thanks for watching, guys. Before you go, I want to thank Crystalborn Heroes of Fate for sponsoring this video. Crystalborn is a new RPG for your phone, and right now it's a top new featured game in the Apple Store. Fight unique bosses, grow your hero collection, and play with others from around the world. Click the link in the description to download the game for iOS or Android for free. Later.